Okay, so today's topic is another one close to my heart, which is why China sucks so much at soccer, not being in the World Cup. And while that hurts my feelings personally quite a bit, why I also think that's not that bad of a thing. Really, it's totally fine. I swear, you'll hear my reasoning, obviously, soon enough. Ayo, Zempak here. First of all, yeah, I stopped with my single sentence of French intro. For this reason, I'll tell you right now, I stopped trying to learn French via Duolingo. Gave up that streak. Had a streak of like 2,027 days or something like that. Yeah, that's done. Okay, so instead today we're going to talk about my feelings because of current events, aka the World Cup finals that's happening right now in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. We are nowhere near deciding the champions yet, but this whole tournament happening here is technically called the World Cup Finals, and one of the most glaring lack of representation during such a global event is, of course, where's China, and to a lesser extent, where's India as well, right? But obviously you can see me, I assume you know that I care more about one than the other because of genetics or whatever, but honestly the argument is quite similar for both, so I'll just concentrate on my feelings on China, okay? So I'm going to go over my very personal, totally non-scientific reasons as to why China sucks as a football power and why that's somehow actually okay, based on logic instead of, emotions and stuff. Anyhow, if you enjoy some random rants from a dude with no production skills, clearly, like, subscribe, share, comment, or whatever. I'll be great regardless, because I just do these for funsies. Hit that bell icon, I don't know where that is, but I'm asking you guys to do it because, I don't know, other YouTubers say that word. Yep, that's me. Casual hypocrite about a rather minor internet detail. So, number one reason, China just does not have a real club system for homegrown talent, and well, the competition over there is on average just not good enough. To be fair, I'm not saying that China doesn't play soccer or football, as we call it. They do, there's lots of local teams. The problem is that the country is so gigantic that it is basically a universe unto itself, right? This really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who likes sports or economics even. Similar to economics, right? China is a market in and of itself. Its population is so large that it has immense competitions within its own borders when it comes to both economics or sports. The sad part, of course, when it comes to sports, if all you're competing against are other Chinese kids for the majority of your life, it is hard to understand how different that could be on the international stage. So, surprisingly, despite the large ingrown population, my first reason for Chinese incompetence in international competition is just that the intra-national competition is, well, it's not very good. Not a surprise, culturally, Chinese people do not prioritize sports or martial pursuits, like physical pursuits. Another reason why the country has been able to catch up intellectually and economically in the past 50 years, but not in terms of, well, team sports at the highest level anyway. I'd call that mostly a trade-off. Now, reason number two, let's compare to why countries like France or Brazil create amazing soccer players and why it's actually fine that China cannot or should not tap into this vein of thinking. France, I think, is a much clearer example. Just look at the French national team right now. There's 26 players on that team. And how many would you say look like what a stereotypical French person looks like? Remember, it's 26 players on max. On the French one, you can just Google how many white-looking dudes there are. I believe it's about 6. 6 out of 26 is 23%. I mean, does anybody think that France, the country, is 23% white? No, it's 80% white. Now, I'm not judging what can be considered French, and I'm certainly not saying Afro-French kids are just better at sports, because all of those statements would be pretty problematic, right? But I do think the real reason is basically immigration and social class. Where does the French team mostly come from? What region or socioeconomic background do they come from, right? Other than race or whatever. Apparently, if you do the research, they mostly come from the greater suburbs of Paris that are likely to be in terrible economic conditions. Same with Brazilian players, if you think about it. So the best players on the planet, coming from soccer-playing countries, come from areas of severe economic distress. Think about that for a second. If that's the reality of who plays or loves the sport, because their only way of escaping their lives is via soccer, then is it a bad thing that China can't replicate this type of life experience these days? I mean, possibly even a good thing, right? Now, my final reason, is there any particular sport or is there any particular nation that's a great representation for all sports, really? When you think about it, China's already on top of the world for some sports. If you watch the Olympics, it's great at ping pong and gymnastics, and I'm pretty sure at random stuff like diving and some types of shooting. I mean, I don't care about most of those except for ping pong because I like racket sports. In the same way that most Americans probably don't care really much about track and field or swimming until it's time for the Olympics, right? My point is, I think it's fine to be only good at a few sports, right? China's already got its few, right? Generally, no country has it all, except, I would say the exception is the United States, because this is a superpower, right? Now, look at other very large countries, such as Canada or Russia. They love their hockey and their winter sports, but that's about it. You know, I definitely never hear residents of, these very, very large countries complain about, I don't know, not being competitive in all the sports in the world, do I? So, I think anecdotally, that's okay, right? You could be some of the largest countries, some of the greatest populations. Look at India, also got more than 1 billion people. Not great at everything, but great at certain things like cricket, okay? So, I think, maybe we just all have our niches, and, maybe football just isn't in some countries' general cultural context, because I don't want to say DNA. In conclusion, I mean, do I think China should be happy they're not even in the World Cup finals? Of course not. Heck, I can even refute my own arguments that I just gave real quick, okay? So, for one thing, Chinese ladies do great in football, actually. So somehow the lack of a nationwide competitive league or training program doesn't affect that half of the population? Yeah, that makes no sense. Also, my other reason that China's simply not dirt poor anymore, well, that's, sure. It doesn't have the desperate immigrant population to draw on, but the country is probably closer to Brazil than France in this case, right? Brazil has no poorer immigrants either. It's just got its own poor people, and I can't claim China's short on those, right? The country's getting richer, but there are definitely always groups within such a large population that's going to be, underserved. So where are they at? How come they're not playing soccer? I don't know. And finally, even on the whole, well, nobody has to dominate all sports argument, well, showing up once in a while would be nice, right? Just showing up in the World Cup finals, I think would be tremendous, and that's nowhere near domination, right? Anyway, that's my rant. Am I reasonable, or am I just making excuses and totally off my rockers? Feel free to yell at me below, or whatever. Cheers, till next time.